The first hearing is actually a meeting, and the subject of the meeting is the Whalum Luxury Apartments 40B project, Gary Lorden, 250 Whalum Road, Lunenburg, Mass. And we're holding the meeting to discuss the changes on the Whalum Road 40B project to determine if it is a minor change or if it is a major modification. Gary Lorden has been invited to the meeting, I see as a representative, and to discuss the changes. If we decide that the changes are minor and the 40B allows us to, we can leave it in the scope of the building inspector. If not, we would schedule an actual hearing. And the reason we can do that is because in the 40B, when we granted that, what we had said is by granting the waivers from the local bylaws and regulations specifically listed in this comprehensive permit, it is the intention of the comprehensive permit to permit construction of the project as shown on the final approved plan. If reviewing the applicant's building permit application, the building inspector determines that any additional waiver from the local zoning, wetlands, health, or other regulations is necessary to permit construction to proceed as shown on the approval plans, the building inspector shall proceed as follows. Any matter of de minimis nature shall be deemed within the scope of the waivers granted by this comprehensive report. Any matter of substantive nature shall be reported back to the ZBA for disposition of the applicant's request for waiver. And I just felt that we should actually just bring it back to the board and let the board decide. So that's why we're here in this meeting tonight. I do know that there was some submitted letters, and so I would ask Lisa if she could read those.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, here is the request letter to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Whalum Road LLC, the applicant, requests a modification pursuant to 760 CMR 56.0511 of the comprehensive permit issued under General Law, Chapter 40B, 20-23, which was approved and issued on February 25th, 2015, along with the regulatory agreement dated September 29th, 2016, authorizing the construction of 120 apartment units. The nature of the proposed modification is to change the alignment of the existing parking layout. The current layout has the cars parked in the middle of the parking lot and the vehicles passing in front of the building within 15 feet of the front door. After construction of the first two buildings, the applicant found this design to present extreme safety issues for pedestrians, in particular young children, entering and exiting the building. The new parking plan, which was delivered to the Town Hall on June 13, 2018, reflects the parking arrangement to be one row against the curb and another row against the opposite side of the parking lot. The applicant has presented this to the fire department, and they are in favor of the new parking plan. The applicant will get a letter from the fire department and have it in hand for the next meeting. Additionally, the applicant would like to amend the plan to be allowed to construct a 24 by 24 detached garage for the purpose of a maintenance building for the property. The location of the proposed garage is depicted on the plan attached here too. Please consider this as two separate requests, one for a parking lot modification and one for a maintenance garage. The applicant requests that the board determine that both proposed modifications constitute an insubstantial change pursuant to 760 CMR 56.0511B. We would be happy to meet with the board to discuss this matter during the 20-day period discussed in 760 CMR 56.0511A. If you have questions, please feel free to call. And he left his phone number. And that's sincerely Gary Lorden, manager of Whalum Road LLC. On July 5th, I received this letter to the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Alfred Gravel. Dear Mr. Gravel, in regards to the updated parking plan at the Whalum Luxury Apartments, 250 Whalum Road, 1-9 Rogers Way, I recommend approval of the change as presented. Specifically, this concerns the change in traffic flow and relocation of parking spaces in front of 1 Rogers Way. The updated plan allows a safer, more orderly flow of traffic past the building. Should also have no negative impact on fire suppression operations. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully, Patrick A. Sullivan, Fire Chief. And then an email followed up on the 9th Supplement to my letter to the ZBA, to be clear, I approve the parking change of all the buildings, not just number one. It makes a better flow all around the location. Respectfully, Patrick A. Sullivan, Chief, Lunenburg Fire Department.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay. And with that, I would invite the applicant to speak to the matter about the changes and the proposed changes to the plan.
So as you all see on
I also will announce too, though, added at that, I see there are some public here. I will have a public comment period if anybody would like to speak.
You have to come to the
You have to
microphone.
come to the mic, give your name and address.
We're supposed to be on the air or just for the next hearing?
The light doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Ron.
All right, you.
All right, so Ally Lorden, Townsend, Mass. Do I have to give my full address?
Yes, please.
Okay, 15 Bayberry Hill Road, Townsend, Mass. So as you see on the plan, the parking, rather than going up the center and having traffic flow past the buildings, we want to push the parking to the curbing and to the garages and the exterior curbing on the other side. That way it's safer when cars, should they go speeding by, they're not speeding by like the first exit of the building.
Okay. As I recall, on the original plan, the parking was in the center strip.
Correct,
All the
2
way
rows.
around, parked
Correct, yep.
against each other, and then the sidewalks were on the sides of the, and now you want to change it so the parking is along the edges,
Yes, alongside the curbing on opposite sides.
okay? And then the roadway would run the center.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. And with that, I would open it up if anybody has any questions or comments.
I got a comment, Mr. Chairman. I mean, it's fine as far as I'm concerned. The only bad thing I can see is with the cars now parking in front of the building, the headlights are going to shine into the first floor apartments. I don't know if you could see
They
that.
park in that direction anyways.
A lot closer, but that was my only comment. That's-
Yeah, so we have these 2 buildings as well in Townsend, Mass.
Right, yeah, we've been there.
And that's how the parking is. We haven't
Oh.
received any complaints
All right.
from tenants that it's, bothering when people pull in. So yeah, that's, I guess,
Right.
it's worked out as far as people being able to enter their garages more freely and having more space to park. And then with the speed, it's just a little concerning to have them crossing, because kind of the same traffic light situation, if people are constantly driving closer to the building, it's almost more of a sound.
Yeah, true, half of one,
yeah.
6 of one, half
So
dozen.
it's kind of either way you cut it,
Right.
it ends up happening.
Okay, thank
I
you.
do have one thing I forgot to mention. This is your option. I said it earlier, but I didn't say it during the hearing. There's usually 5 members sitting on the board. Tonight, there are 4. That's, for this, we need a simple majority, is 3. And unfortunately, Hans has recused himself
Okay.
from this hearing, which I just want to forewarn you that you will need 3 out of 3.
Okay,
So just to let you know that. Now, you do have the option of wanting to continue, if you would, or just go on as it.
we can go ahead.
Okay. On the parking, are they same amount of parking spots? Does it equal total the same as what the original plan was?
That I am unsure of. I'd have to look at the plan of the original. I believe it's the same, if not greater. But I would assume that the engineer who created the original plan created this, so as far as regulations and what needs to be met, I do know he was aware of that.
Okay, all right. And I'm going to stick to the parking as well, because we will take them as 2 separate.
Right. First, we have to, whether it's a minor change
Correct.
or, yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
In looking at the space in front of the garages, there's an additional 10 feet, so would that imply that the space is 10 feet plus what would normally be a parking space?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Are you talking about the spots directly in front of the garages?
Right.
So those would be, so the people that own those garages or are leasing those garages would have those spots reserved for them. So we will be writing reserved so that no one parks in those designated spots, blocking their garages. But after those garage spaces, it'll become kind of fair game, first come, first serve again.
So a person that owns a garage could essentially park 2 cars?
They could park
Yeah.
in their garage and then in the spot that is immediately in front of their door.
But then immediately in front, there would also be according to these, you've got your garage, a 10-foot space, and then parking. So they could park in the
It's-
10-foot space and then still have,
No, so as it's, I mean, I believe what the plan is, that's like the front of the curbing from the garage. There is no 10-foot gap in
Oh,
front
okay.
of the garages. So it'll be almost like someone's parked, if this is their garage door, the parking would start right in front of the garage door.
okay.
That's
so
why
there's-
those would be reserved.
All right, so there basically is no 10-foot gap
Correct.
there,
Yep.
as you said. Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this?
No, I think it makes a lot more sense to
Okay.
have it closer to the curb rather than, it gives more space for traffic flow and everything else this way too, so.
Okay, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think when this went through, there was going to be 2 parking spaces for every unit.
Yes.
So if you have a garage, does that space in front count as your second parking
Correct.
space?
Yep.
So that would, so, now, are the other spaces, are they, they're first come, first served?
Correct. If people, so at some of our buildings, like in Gardner, we do assign because there is such a set amount, whereas in Townsend and in Lunenburg, there's excess space. So until we have a problem with people fighting over parking or there not being enough spaces for everyone and their guests, we don't typically start to assign specific spots,
Okay.
but we will if need be.
Okay, because I was just thinking it would be, at least they have the option of a different spot, because if there are 2 spots where, you know, the garage and the space in front of it, you know, if it was me and my wife, every time I wanted, if she was in the garage and wanted to leave, I'd have to move
Yeah,
my
so-
car, and, you know, back and forth, back and forth.
They get
so-
2 additional spots outside of their garage space. So that's not counted in their
Okay,
parking
so that is
needs.
not counted.
Typically, if people have 3 cars to a household, we suggest they get a parking garage because then they can park their 2 cars outside and 1 in the garage.
Okay.
So if there's a primary car, they could park up against the curbing of the building and be closer and put their second in front of their garage door if it wasn't snowing.
Okay, so they actually do get the garage plus 2.
Yes, sorry, but that space in front of their garage would count as one of theirs.
Okay, 1, okay, all right. Any other questions or comments?
I'm good.
Okay, so on the first part, I guess what we're going to be asking you is, like I said, if we find this to be a minor change to the 40B parking plan, then I can simply leave this in the scope of the building inspector. So if somebody
Do we
would...
need a motion?
You
and a
need,
second to
yeah,
vote?
we need to have some sort of a motion.
Did you want to do public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, and if anybody from the public would like to come up and speak, please come to the mic and give your name and address and say whatever you would like.
Nothing?
Anybody? No? Okay. So with that,
I'll make a motion that we consider this a minor change to the original procedure that we granted the situation for Whalum Road LLC, and that we allow the reconfiguration of the
okay,
roadway parking areas.
all right, thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, with that, I'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So with that, the minor change to the parking has been approved. The building inspector will have it will now be in the scope of the building inspector to grant.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and with that, now we can take up the second part of what they are asking for, and that is a 24 by 24 detached garage for the purpose of a maintenance building for the property. And again, if you would like to address that.
So the maintenance garage would obviously just give us a place. We'll be taking care of the lawn, any plowing needs, snow maintenance, that kind of thing. So rather than transportation back and forth, it would just give a spot to store mowers, different tools, shovels, snow blowers, things that would be otherwise more unsightly left out.
The only question I have is, you said it is on the plan.
Yes, so it's a small,
I did not see it
It's over here.
unless there was a new one.
Yeah, it's in the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh,
it's very
okay.
small.
Oh, right there, okay. So, yeah, on my plan, it's not there, I know. On that garage, that meets does that meet proper setbacks?
I believe so, yes. We own quite a bit of that land back
It-
towards the water department.
Not named to here, but did you agree with that, Lisa?
Yep,
Did you?
this is a right-of-way, so,
Yeah.
yep.
This is 22 feet, so it does meet all proper setbacks, okay. All right, and that is
24 by 24.
24 by 24.
So it would be roughly a two-car garage.
Okay, I'm just looking at, I don't know, oh, for one reason I know why I didn't see it, I wasn't looking in the right location.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have it here now.
get it there.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and with that, I'll open it up to the board. Any questions you may have?
My question, 24 by 24 is a two-car garage. I don't have enough room with my two-car garage, and it's 26 by 26, so that seems kind of small.
It's not necessarily to fit two cars, just roughly. It's mainly for storing, like,
So
the
it's
plows
not
themselves,
for,
like the front. It's not for parking two cars in it.
or it's not for a vehicle, it's only for...
No, it's more of a maintenance shed
Okay,
to store all of like our snow blowers. I mean, it takes a whole crew to do the snow maintenance, and that way it's always there for the crew that gets dropped off there. They can,
we have it under
they
the-
need
Right.
mowers, snow blowers, the actual plows themselves.
Okay.
I don't think there would ever be a car parked in the garage.
Okay, do you actually do the landscaping as well in the summer? Do you do the grass and all, everything?
We do,
You guys
right now, the majority of our apartments, we are contemplating whether to sub this out because it will be a larger project. But as of right now, we maintain everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I got a comment and a question. Actually, it'd be obviously be a lot more secure storing that stuff
Yes.
inside under lock and key. Are you going to have like garage-type doors on the front of it for access into the
Yes.
building?
Yep, just to remove bigger pieces of
Right.
equipment like the mowers.
Is there like a concrete apron in front of that?
We haven't done anything substantial as far as planning. I'm
Right.
guessing he would use the same siding as the building, kind of continue that two-tone tan look. At our other building,
Okay.
there is a small concrete strip and that connects itself to the paving.
Right, that's basically what I was asking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I'm sure
that's how you
whatever
get
is
in and out.
necessary to continue it.
Right. Okay, I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Oh, and I do have a 24 by 24, and my wife's car fits in there. And my motorcycle and this, all the other stuff's in there.
yeah, it's tight, but...
Yeah, so my wife's car will always fit in there no matter what.
All right. And, okay. So, again, I will, at this time, open it up to the public. If anybody would like to speak, please come to the mic, name and address, and say whatever you'd like. Hearing nothing, I would bring it back to the board and ask for a motion.
Yeah, I'll move we allow him to build the maintenance garage as described.
Okay?
Second.
All right, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, the garage is also No, you will go back into the scope of the building inspector. You're welcome. Thank you.
Where's your dad, up on vacation somewhere?
They're at a concert, so that's all today.
Oh, good for them. Oh, well.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Right.
Really?
Okay, so what's diaper and everything?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, we can
7:45.
maybe give them a heads up that we not have another hearing, 7:45. Got like Okay, we're going to have a little bit of time here because the next hearing, we have to schedule them. The next one isn't scheduled until 7:45. Sometimes you don't know how long hearings are going to go. So the next hearing,
Bezikowski, do a little dance for us.
No, thank you, John.
if I did that, then you would probably all leave.
So you want to take one of these and pass it to him?
Yeah. Okay. It is 7:45. We do have a hearing scheduled. Gentlemen, please. It's 7:45. We do have a hearing scheduled. I would like to tell you how the hearing will proceed. First, I have to give you a notification that this hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over to Lunenburg Public Access. The light on that doesn't work, but it is on. I'd like to introduce you to the members of the board. To my left is Lisa Normandy, she's the board secretary. Alfred Gravel, James Bezikowski, Hans Winthrop, and Paul Doherty. Lisa is going to read the application and any other submitted communications. The applicant will have the opportunity for comments on the application or a submission of additional documents. You will please come forward to the mic, give your name and address, and the board members will have the opportunity to ask questions they might have on the application while you're at the mic. There will be a public comment period. At that time, you will please come forward to the mic, and you will give your name and address, and you will address all comments or questions to the board. This is seeking a special permit for dimensional variation, and the requirements, findings for that are, if a special, findings are, the permit may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially degrading from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. The specific site is an appropriate location for such building or alterations. The proposed buildings or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood with regard to size, location, and architecture. The granting of the special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities, and there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. And the board may impose any conditions deemed necessary to achieve the purpose of this bylaw. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit for dimensional variation, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is Kevin Hill, 410 Lancaster Avenue in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows: to seek a special permit for dimensional variation to reduce the area of proposed building lots in order to facilitate a land swap with the town of Lunenburg. The town to receive a 7-acre parcel, the abutter to receive a 1,500 square foot parcel. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, 8321C and 5121. The street address of the property is 171 Gilchrist Street in Lunenburg. Assessors map 31, parcels 9, 10, and 11. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Edmund Sozik, 171 Gilchrist Street, Eileen Hamill, 40 Eastern Ave in Lunenburg, and Linda Dyer, 3201 Banyan Way, Waxhaw, North Carolina. And the town of Lunenburg, P.O. Box 135 in Lunenburg. Recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 490, page 234, 122663, Book 516105, recorded 8/30/1934, and Book 4472, page 24, recorded 12/17/2002. We have no knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case. It's signed June 5th, 2018 by Kevin Hill of 410 Lancaster Avenue in Lunenburg. Statement in support of petition to Zoning Board of Appeals, 171 Gilchrist Street. A walking trail in use by the public crosses the subject premises. The trail is used in connection with the public enjoyment of abutting conservation land of the town of Lunenburg and reduces the portion of the subject premises available for use by the owner. Extensive wetlands in the vicinity of the walking trail also limit the land area available for private use. Accordingly, the applicant intends to convey to the town of Lunenburg that portion of the premises encumbered by the walking trail and the wetlands, approximately 7 acres. In return, it is anticipated that a 20-foot wide accessway, Harvey Lane, presently unused, will be conveyed to the town by the town to the applicant. This 20-foot wide accessway currently separates the 2 parcels of land contemplated for development by the applicant and prevents a comprehensive development plan for both parcels. B, by reference to the minimum area and frontage requirements of the Residence A and outlying zoning districts in which the subject premises is situated, the subject premises contain sufficient frontage and area for 3 standard building lots, Residence A, and 4 reduced frontage building lots outlying. However, conveyance of the 7-acre parcel to the town would reduce the number of available lots to 5. If the application is granted, the result will be to offset the economic cost and associated hardship of the conveyance of 7 acres to the town. C, the land adjacent to Gilchrist Street and Valley Road, including the frontage portion of the subject premises and all of the land on the opposite side of Gilchrist Street and Valley Road, is situated in the Residence A zoning district. The rearmost portion of the subject premises is situated in the outlying zoning district. If pursuant to the petition, the entirety of the subject premises is developed in accordance with the dimensional regulations of the Residence A zoning district, the resulting building lots would be consistent with the character of the surrounding neighborhood. D, 3 building lots are proposed that are substantially within the Residence A zoning district, 40,000 square foot minimum area, and 4 reduced frontage building lots are proposed that are substantially within the outlying zoning district, 160,000 square foot minimum area. The total required minimum area of the 7 lots is therefore 760,000 square feet, or approximately 17.5 acres. Since the total area of the subject premises, including the land proposed to the town of Lunenburg, is approximately 20.5 acres, the overall proposed density of the proposed residential lots is consistent with the intent of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. E, at town meeting on May 5th, 2018, the town of Lunenburg authorized the land swap between the town and the applicant. As shown on a preliminary survey of the subject premises, the town will receive approximately a parcel measuring approximately 7 acres, and the applicant will receive a parcel measuring approximately 15,000 square feet, or 0.35 of an acre. And that's submitted by Kevin Hill, 410 Lancaster Ave.
Okay, before you start reading some of the other things, I do have to make one thing to the applicant. As you see, there are 4 members of the board here tonight. Normally, there would be a 5-member board. This requires a supermajority vote, which means that if you want us to hear this, you would have to get all 4 tonight. If you would... You have the opportunity, if you would like, to continue it till there's a 5-member board. Unfortunately, one of our members is in the hospital tonight. One of them is away on business, and one of our associate members has dropped off the board. So unfortunately, like I say, we are down to 4 sitting. So you would have, you need a supermajority, as I'm sure you're aware. So it's up to you whether you would like to continue tonight or whether you would like to wait till we have a 5-member board. You may, indeed.
For the record, my name is Jamie Rowe from Whitman and Bingham Associates, representing Kevin Hill, the applicant. Thank you very much for letting us know that right up front. So I have a few questions, point of order, so to speak. If we go forward this evening, and the board determines they need more information and we have to continue it, the 5th member comes at the next meeting, are they able to participate and vote? Or is it limited to just the 4 people here tonight?
No, I believe, if I'm correct, that they would be allowed to vote. They would have to watch the recording and read all of the literature.
in that case, if it does get continued and a fifth member is here, are you telling me we need 4 out of 5 votes at the next meeting if it gets continued?
Am I correct on that, Lisa? Do you?
Tonight, you'd need 4 out of 4. If there were 5,
Right.
you'd
Right.
only need...
So
Oh, he's
4 out
saying
of
if it was
5.
continued, though, but the fifth member, if he watches the tapes,
No, but you'd need 3 out of 5.
huh?
Wouldn't you need 3 out of 5?
No, you would still need
No,
4.
4
Oh,
for
okay.
special
You
permit.
would need 4 out of 5
Okay.
at that
Instead
point.
of 4 out of 5.
Correct.
Tonight, you need 4 out
Tonight, we need 4 out of 4. If it is continued, we need 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
yeah, as long as he watches all the tapes and, like I say, reads all of the notes and reads all of the material.
Okay. Could I have a moment with my client?
You may.
And also, we should add, if you should proceed, and the vote doesn't go your way, you have to wait 2 years
Yeah.
before you can reapply.
Correct. Repetitive petition, right?
Right,
Yeah.
it's all
Thank
part
you.
of it.
Thank you. Couple of minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
If member comes on, just read all the literature about it. We've done it before. I think we checked it. Yeah, we did, because somebody said, yeah, as long as they, we asked the lawyer, and they said, yeah, as long as they read everything.
Recess?
Well, you know what, while we're still on the air, I will make an announcement, though, since we are now down on one of our alternates. If anybody would like to put in an application for an alternate on the board to the ZBA, they're certainly welcome to do that. You would do that through the job bank, talent bank, and just express your interest.
I'm not volunteering, but could you do me a favor and turn up the microphones?
Could you say that again?
I'm not volunteering to join the board, but I was wondering, it's hard to hear out here. Could somebody turn up the microphones just?
Okay, okay. Maybe I'm not clear, I'll bring it closer.
Thank you. Sing a song.
Unfortunately, the way it works is, this is for the recording and not actually for here in the room. There is no sound system here in the room, so, yeah, it does get a little cumbersome sometimes.
We'll bring it closer and speak up.
Right, there you go.
Much better now, thank you.
Right. Exactly.
So this essentially is what they want to do in the swapping area, is the lower back portion of it. That's correct, yep. And what the town is giving up is a little bit right in here.
Correct, yeah, I think my understanding is that they're giving up this. This is an easement already sitting there. This is, I think, Harvey Lane. So they'd be swapping that out. That's gonna move, that would
Harvey Lane is located right in,
see, it's to be acquired
They would
from.
give us that as
Well, so I think, I see.
okay, so
the town
Harvey
would give
Lane
them that,
is
and then
in here.
they Take this,
Right, okay.
they get this easement over here to get to this.
Right. Yeah.
Well, how do you legally remove an easement? That's gotta be a whole nother
How
kettle
do
of
you
fish.
legally
Remove an
You
easement.
can't.
Yeah.
Everyone's-
Yeah, it goes with the land, yeah. I don't know how you legally, with the land, I don't know.
Well, if you give them, if they, if the
town gave them the land and.
But
the
it still
easement.
runs,
Right.
people can pass and repass on it.
Right, it's in the mortgages of all.
Yeah, it's in perpetuity, so you can't get rid of the easement.
Yeah, you can.
Can?
Yes.
I'm sure it's a difficult process.
We have an easement on our property for AT&T, and there's something that I've been told twice that I can do it, and it's through where you record the deeds.
Registry of deeds.
Yeah, it doesn't require much at all.
Really? Huh. I got the same thing, AT&T, so when you do that, let me know. Yeah.
I've just been sitting and waiting, and it's like, it doesn't bother me.
So that must have been there before you bought your property? With underground cable or something?
Yeah, well, they never put it in, but they had the easement. And we have an easement for, say, gas,
Oh, okay.
which they redid when they did the trunk line all the way to Devon's. They exercised that and
Yeah.
did everything. But the other one was brought to our attention again. Said, no, you've got this and it's useless. Why don't you just have it removed?
Usually, you have to pay your rent every month?
Yeah, there's no rent. I'm not getting rent.
I don't know.
Thank you very much for that time.
You're welcome.
We're inclined to continue the meeting, and it's not a reflection on you four gentlemen whatsoever. I've been doing this for 30 years. In my experiences, 4 out of 4 is sometimes tough to get. So we'd like to continue it for at least 2 weeks if possible, and have this continued public hearing in 2 weeks with the 5th member, whoever that is, present, so we can have a full board, if that's okay with the board.
Okay, so you would like to continue
Correct?
for 2 weeks, okay.
Want to get all the material?
What's that? We're debating whether we want to read all the material in tonight,
Sure,
and also I'm going to allow public comment tonight,
sure.
just because it's, a lot of people came out. I'm not sure, so I'd like to, if that is reasonable.
That's fine with us, yeah.
Okay, so at that, we're going to continue, we're going to, just so everybody understands, he has asked for a continuance till we do have the 5 members. We'll probably schedule that in 2 weeks. But what we're going to do is we're going to read all the submitted materials that we have, and we're going to allow public comment. We're not going to get into the whole case and start doing all of that. That will be in the continuance. But I just want everybody to be aware of everything that we have and gets public comment tonight, just in case some of you can't make the next hearing. So with that, Lisa, would you continue reading the...
Mr. Chairman, before Lisa starts...
Yes.
Do we maybe want to hold that for the next meeting when the other board member would be here, so that would all be read in front of that?
Again, he will have all the material.
Okay.
We will
I'm just
submit to
suggesting.
him all the
I'm fine
material,
with whatever you want to do.
right, including the tapes.
I would say this, Mr. Chairman, if we do read the documents into the minutes, that next time we pick up right where we left off and not go through all that again.
That is correct.
Okay,
That
all
is
right.
correct.
And again, we apologize. One of the members was hospitalized, and we didn't realize until I called him late this afternoon, so. Okay, back to the application. The applicant is Kevin Hill, but the owner of the property are, Eileen Hamel, Linda Dyer, Edmund Sozik, owners of said property by inheritance, do hereby grant permission to Kevin Hill and Landings Development buyer under a purchase and sale agreement dated November 13th, 2017, permission to apply for a swap and/or donation of part of said land with the town of Lunenburg. Also, there's a copy of this plan in the application, a list of abutters submitted by the Lunenburg Assessor's Office to the applicant, and there is a site plan. There is one home on the parcel, and there is a field card. I received a letter from the Land Use Director, Adam Burney, today to Alfred Gravel, Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals, regarding 155 and 171 Gilchrist Street. The petition in front of you for 155 and 171 Gilchrist Street is the result of a proposed land swap between the town of Lunenburg and Kevin Hill. The town was approached over the winter about the potential of swapping the municipally owned parcel at 161 Gilchrist Street for a portion of the 155 and 171 Gilchrist Street parcels. At the time, the Conservation Commission was in support of the proposal as a concept. This support was based on the retention for existing trail at the rear of the property that connected to the Lane property and the large town forest. Conservation Commission sponsored an article for the town meeting warrant to authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate the proposed swap. This article passed town meeting with some discussion, which was generally based upon the town retaining access from Gilchrist Street to the trail at the rear of the property. The plan that is in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals reflects a negotiated swap between the Board of Selectmen and Mr. Hill. The plan includes a walking easement up the easterly side of the property to access the trail and grants the town 304,920 square feet in exchange for 15,000 square feet. This swap would grant control to the town of the portion of Mulpus Brook located on 171 Gilchrist Street. Mulpus Brook is classified as a cold water fishery and was recently the subject of a grant proposal by the town of Lunenburg in an effort to preserve its natural healthy condition. The town of Lunenburg has a long history of preserving land to protect the environment and natural features. This land swap would continue that historic pattern. Furthermore, if the town acquires ownership of the 7 acres proposed in the swap, it will allow the existing trail to remain where it currently exists, which is critical because this affords residents of Gilchrist Street, Valley Road, and the Woodlands access to the Lane and Large Town Forest property, and as movement of the trail would be difficult due to the location of Mulpus Brook and the associated topography. This access provides residents of Lunenburg the ability to use and enjoy the town's open space and trail network. For this reason, I extend my support to the petition of Mr. Kevin Hill, as I believe that the town of Lunenburg and its residents will see multiple benefits from the proposal in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to express my opinions. If you require further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Again, that was from Adam R. Burney, Land Use Director. I also received a letter from the Lunenburg Conservation Chairman, Richard Bursch, to the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals. Dear Chairman Gravel and honorable board members, as to the petition before you, an application for a special permit at 171 Gilchrist Street by Kevin Hill. The Lunenburg Conservation Commission has voted to unanimously support the petition for the special permit for dimensional variation. The Lunenburg Conservation Commission lends this support as the caretaker of the town-owned lands known as the William H. and Sandra B. Lane property at Lunenburg Town Forest that directly abuts 171 Gilchrist Street in the town of Lunenburg. The Board of Selectmen will, with support from the Lunenburg Conservation Commission, have negotiated with the petitioner, Kevin Hill, to exchange a piece of land currently owned by the town of Lunenburg and under the control of the Lunenburg Conservation Commission. The town land being offered is a piece that is 20 feet wide and runs from Gilchrist Street and provides the ability to access the recently acquired Lane property. There is currently no trail on this property that connects Gilchrist Street to the Lane property trail network. In exchange for this town-owned property of approximately .35 acres, the town will receive approximately 7 acres of property that abuts the Lane property and a 15-foot access easement from Gilchrist Street to this new piece of property. This proposed parcel would come from the subdivision plan for the property at 171 Gilchrist Street put forth by Mr. Hill. The proposed 7-acre parcel has 800 feet of Mulpus Brook running through it, a large wetland system that flows into the Mulpus Brook, and a foot/bike trail that begins at the end of the proposed easement and connects to the Lane property trail network. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 8C, Conservation Commission's powers and duties, the Lunenburg Conservation Commission determines this exchange is a net positive in its mission to protect environmentally sensitive watershed and provide public access and development of passive recreational areas within the town of Lunenburg. The Board of Selectmen has received town meeting support and authorization to proceed with the exchange should all parties be in agreement. In the understanding of the Commission that in order for the above exchange to take place, the applicant must be granted a special permit from relief from the Lunenburg zoning bylaw 5121 in order to subdivide the property in a way to provide the parcel described for exchange and maintain the target number of lots for development. In review of our decision, the Conservation took the following points into consideration. 1, development of this property can proceed with or without this petition. The current design, based on approval of the petition, will allow for 7 developable lots. The commission has been informed that if the petition is denied, there would be up to 6 developable lots. The proposed access easement will run in close proximity to a currently used easement that provides access to the large town forest trail network. 3, the current piece of town property does not provide protection of any environmentally sensitive area or provide any passive recreational potential. 4, the proposed 7-acre parcel does contain a large wetland system that drains into the Mulpus Brook, as well as approximately 800 feet of the Mulpus Brook. As Mulpus Brook is a cold water fishery, it is of paramount importance to protect the basin from development to ensure the waters retain this characteristic. 5, this neighborhood does use the nearby town properties for passive recreation, so protection of the environmentally sensitive area and continued meaningful access is in the local public interest. 6, the exchange of the current .35 acre piece of property for the 7-acre parcel is consistent with the current forest stewardship plan on the Lane property. The plan lists, among other management goals, protection of the Mulpus Brook watershed. This plan and other information on lands under the control of the Lunenburg Conservation Commission are available on the town's website. 7, the Lunenburg Conservation Commission, in its unanimous opinion that granting the petition is within the interest of the special permit process, would provide meaningful protection of public property, is consistent with intents and purposes of the local zoning bylaw, and given the unique environmental and recreational characteristics of this property, would not set a precedence for future petitions to replicate. Lunenburg Conservation Commission thanks you all for the consideration of our opinion in your process. And that's signed Richard Bursch, Chairman of the Lunenburg Conservation Commission. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa, very much.
Welcome.
Okay, and with that, I will take public comment at this time. If you would like to speak, you can come up and to the microphone, give your name. No, I think the presentation should be at the continuance. So you can come up to the mic, give your name and address, and I do want to let you know as well, at the next hearing, we will also have public comment. So if you want to wait till after you've heard the whole presentation in the continuance, we can do that, or you can come up and speak and say whatever you would like to say now. But again, you'd have the opportunity both times. So if anybody would like to come up, give your name and your address and say what you would like to.
I'll be the
Someone has to.
Mr. Chairman, my name is John Jones. I'm a resident of 50 Valley Road here in Lunenburg. I have lived there for a long time and have used the town forest since I was a Boy Scout, and I use this land constantly. Since that the Lane property has been bought, I've been out there probably 4 or 5 times a week on these trails. I look at this land swap and I really applaud the work of the land use folks in the town, the Conservation Commission, the Open Space Committee, and our land use manager. I think this is a no-brainer. To me, this swap, allowing that land to be transferred to the town, protects that area much more than if we were just to build houses there and allow the landowners to have access to that. And it also provides me access to the trails. But it really gives us the opportunity to transfer that land, and that very critical land, to the oversight of the town rather than the oversight of a developer or a landowner. I think that the developer and the town, the Conservation Commission and the Open Space Committee should be applauded, or just, it's a great thing that they were able to come to this agreement, and that this developer has said, hey, I'll do this, I'll give it to you, and we can protect this space, but I need to be able to build the houses. And as the Conservation Commission said, there's going to be a bunch of houses there anyway. I'd love not to see houses on that land, but there's going to be a bunch of houses there anyway. Let's protect that space and give them this variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come up and comment at this time?
Hi, I'm Kathy Mosca. I live at 2 Valley Road. I am directly across the street from what's going on here, so it affects us very much. I've spoken with Ken, and I've had some assurances from him that things are going to be done in a way different than what's on the plan. And what I wanted to find out is, if this is granted the way it is, I have a lot of objections to it. It will change the nature of the neighborhood. There will suddenly be 7 driveways in, which, again, Kevin hits it, no, that's not really how they're going to do it, but that's how it's drawn out. And then the other question that I had, the piece of land, the 15 feet that's next to Jane Gallagher's driveway, if that's given over as the swap to the town, does that mean that's going to be 15 feet of clear-cut timber all the way up? Because I think that also can change the nature of things, because it wouldn't just be a walking area, because right now people walk up and down the driveway because of the right-of-way. That would change things, and it would become snowmobiles, four-wheelers, parking on the street for cars and trailers that bring their snowmobiles, and Valley Road becomes a driveway kind of thing, a parking lot kind of thing. So in those ways, I have questions, and again, I've talked to him tonight, and he was saying, no, that's not really how they're going to do it. But my question is, do I actually, if we pass this, if you pass this, is that how the permission is, or should this be drawn up differently?
The only thing I can comment on that, again, we haven't heard his presentation.
Yes.
So we don't know. And
Okay.
these are things, I mean, this is why I invite the public up, because
Okay.
they're hearing you as well as the board. So it gives them the opportunity to address that. But these are a lot of questions that will come up in the actual hearing.
In the 2 weeks from now?
Yes, when we postpone it and we actually have, and they do their presentation.
Okay.
So,
all right.
again,
I wasn't
you know,
sure if this actually had to be changed on paper, or if it just gets figured out then.
The actual hearing itself, we're not really doing tonight. That's going to be in the, that's why he
And that will
asked
be in
for the
2 weeks.
continuance, correct.
Okay, all right, that's great, thank you.
So again, we invite you back next
I'll be
hearing.
back.
We will give you a date certain and time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else would like to come up at this time?
Jane Gallagher, 9 Valley Road. So I'm a direct abutter of the property. And I guess I have to sort of mimic what Kathy said. It's, a little bit confusing. Is this 7 houses? How are the driveways going to be access to the road? So I understand that, when we see the presentation, that will become a little bit more clear. I bought land, I built my house, I understand that, that's how it works, it's great, it's a beautiful place, we have a lovely town. So my concern is, I have a 10-foot wide easement on my driveway, that I came to an agreement with the town of Lunenburg. The town took me to land court twice, and, it was upheld what the agreement was. I don't get why we need a 10-foot wide path on my driveway and a 15-foot wide path 20 feet away for exactly the same thing. So that's a little bit of a concern, I guess. I just don't understand why that is. Let's see. And it seems, 7 houses just seems really excessive in that area, but I'll wait and see what the presentation is in 2 weeks.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak tonight? Yeah, come right up.
My name's Bob Pease. I live at 11 Wintergreen Court. I'm an abutter. I'm a member of the Conservation Commission, and I'm a frequent user of the Lane property, and I walk through that trail, at least I ride to that trail on mountain bike at least 2 or 3 times a week. To me, the choice that you're faced with is not it's going to stay the same, or we're going to have 7 houses there. The choice is you're going to have 5 houses there, or you're going to have 7 houses there. The man owns the property, he's paid good money for it, he has the right to develop it, and to me, it's an excellent exchange that benefits the public good. I mean, if you're taking a look at that list of criteria that you read at the beginning of the meeting about how you consider, should it be granted or not, to me, this is a real enhancement to the town of Lunenburg. It gives us meaningful access to all the people that live in that neighborhood to the Lane property rather than going all the way up to Holman and into the parking lot and back to the large town forest. I'm strongly in favor of it. I understand it's change, and if you live there, you might not like the change. I'd also say that the town of Lunenburg does not allow the Conservation Commission's rules do not allow ATVs. They don't allow snowmobiles in areas that are not designated as a multi-use trail, and that has not been designated as a multi-use trail. Those are my comments.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Come right up.
Thank you. I'm Evagrio Mosca. I live at 2 Valley Road, married to Catherine. We are directly impacted by whatever happens on this property. It's a combination of the trucks coming in, the traffic, the clear cutting that's inevitably going to have to take place, because as you look at this property from the aerial view, it's all green. So there's a fair amount of greenery that will have to be removed to accommodate 7 driveways, 7 homes. Perhaps what's going on in my own imagination is much worse than what's about to be proposed in 2 weeks, but I'm imagining a year or 2 of chaos in this area. We're right across the street. So I guess I'm going to have to wait 2 weeks to really see what the plan is, and I'm wondering if Mr. Hill and his people in 2 weeks can be rather clear about what this property will look like when it's finished. How much of that greenery, what percent of that greenery will be gone, and what time period are they anticipating in terms of getting the job done. My other concern really is that 15-foot strip. The trade-off is what would be the usage of that 15-foot strip. What I was picturing in my imagination was 30 or 40 cars that could park along there, and I may be completely way off. Again, I have to wait a couple weeks to get a real answer to that question.
That is correct.
So I appreciate this opportunity.
But again, we're not only hearing you, the applicant is hearing you, so it doesn't hurt to say what's on your mind.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else?
Hi, Ken Jones, 50 Valley Road. I'm also a member of the Conservation Commission. Just to address some of the residents' concerns as far as the use of the trail and the right-of-way, it's our intent that there's not going to be any parking there. It'll be for foot traffic and bicycle traffic, no ATVs. Basically no different than the right-of-way that's there now. My understanding of the right-of-way that exists now is it goes up, if you're going up the Gallagher driveway, it's on the right-hand side, and that accesses the trail that goes to the Old Town Forest over a bridge. And there's no right-of-way that crosses the driveway to this side of the driveway where this property is. So it would run up the side and allow access to the existing trail that's there right now. So I think that's why there's going to be 2 easements. But as far as parking concerns, there's not going to be any designated parking areas that we're aware of. It'll just be local use only for foot traffic and bicycle traffic. So like Bob said and the chairman stated in his letter, the Conservation Commission is strongly supporting this. So thank you.
Any other public comment tonight? Okay, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Lisa come up with a date and time certain for the continuance.
Let me see, I should have put that on. 2 weeks. I don't know where the calendar is. What is 2 weeks from tonight? Does anybody have a calendar? You have a calendar?
July 25th is 2 weeks from today.
July 25th?
Yep.
That's all we have.
Huh?
That's all we have. So
Okay,
maybe
so 7
o'clock.
o'clock. July 25th at 7 o'clock? Is that acceptable to the applicant? It is. Okay. Okay, so we will continue this to July 25th, 7 o'clock. And again, we invite you all back. And again, there'll be a public comment period after their presentation. So again, you will have the opportunity, and hopefully they will have some clarification to some of the things they've heard tonight. And we thank you for coming.
If there are no...
I would actually ask for a motion to continue to
I'll make a motion that we
Second it.
continue.
July 25th. Second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's continued to July 25th at 7.
There are no other important business before our meeting. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second to the motion?
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting's adjourned.